There, do I look like I have a suntan? Sweet. Anyway, here we go. So I looked up the drivers that you were talking about. They were the rainbows, right? So here's the thing, man. It is a 3-inch set, okay? Typically, 3-inch drivers like this. Hold on, I just want to go ahead and check. All right, sit this down really quick. Ooh, okay, yeah. Definitely 3 inches. So anyway, after basically looking up the specs of your driver, you're fine using a 250 hertz crossover slope at 24 dB. You'll be perfectly fine with that. And let me explain why. Now, I put the reasons for it in the post, but just so you don't know, all right? Just because. A 250 hertz slope on your receiver is going to give you more than enough safety to go ahead and run these at 60 watts. All right? Pretty cool. And let me show you the difference between a 24 and a 12. So let's not just showing you. So you can hear it now. It's just great. Okay. So we have my deck right now set up at 200 hertz at 12, right? And so what we're going to do is I'm going to start out with the 24 dB setting, okay? And we're going to play a 250 hertz tone.
250 hertz.
And I have that at 50 on my deck. So we're at 74. Now watch this. $85, $86. Not very much of a difference, right? And watch what happens when we go down to
250 hertz. 400 hertz.
no.
250 hertz. 125 hertz.
Okay, so that's a 12 dB, right? And watch what happens when I go to 24. So now we're at 91 dB at this, at full volume, or around there. 99 dB at 12. 91 dB at 24. 99 dB at 12. Okay? So that's a significant amount of, and again, that is like a straight up tone. If we used something like music, which would have bass content, right, it would severely limit like the excursion and low frequency information being fed into that driver, okay? Because remember, we don't listen to test tones, but that test tone that I showed you is a good way of you hearing the difference and me telling the dB numbers that I got, which would, the difference between the 12 and the 24 dB crossover, okay? And so, yeah, man, I looked that stuff up, and it's all good to go. Now, remember, the main reason, and this is something cool so you should know, is that this driver, because at the 250 hertz, like 250, the sine wave is like, about 4.5 feet, right? Cool. So, I mean, it has to produce a wave that's like, okay, so here's the speaker, right? Way back here, and like right where the phone camera is about 4.5 feet. Actually, it's probably more like 3, but you get what I'm saying, okay? And so little drivers like this, right, they got to do a lot of work, okay? But it's perfectly fine for this driver to produce that. It totally can, all right? And here's the other cool thing. You're going to get a lot less beaming and a lot of other stuff using a smaller driver to produce that frequency there. So you'll be set. So it's more than fine. And again, like I said, these small drivers don't have a lot of X-Max, right? They don't move very much. So when you're talking about at 250 hertz at 24 dB, this is visibly to the eye is not really going to move that much, especially during normal music transients and stuff like that. You saw that, like that tone or heard that tone. It doesn't really require a lot of air movement or X-Max to go ahead and make a 250 hertz at 24 dB tone, okay? And that is going to protect your drivers, and it'll be just fine. Like I said, what it says over here on the website, thanks to caraudiodirect.com.co.uk, they basically said that this set is good enough for 100 to 30,000 hertz is what its response is, okay? So these 3.5-inch drivers, is it 3.5 inch or 3 inch? I think it's 3 inch, right? ML, SL3, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But the thing is that under here, I believe it's stated, yeah. Okay, very broadband use from 70 hertz to 15 kilohertz. So that's cool. So I'm glad that they said that. So you can actually use these drivers to 70 hertz according to Car Audio Direct.uk. And looks like they're pretty legit, man. I mean, they have all these. Man, they listed everything in this. Even listed the crossover point of the tweeter being a 12 dB crossover at 3,600 hertz. So, again, if you use network mode, you're still going to be ahead because you can use an even better, like you can actually, use like an even stiffer slope if you want, and, make the tweeter actually play down maybe instead of 3,600, you can probably do it maybe 3,000 now, or even 2,500, depending on what the FS of the tweeter is. That's some other stuff, okay? But again, contact Rainbow and ask them, hey, if I have a 24 dB slope crossover, what would you do with these? And ask them what they would do with it. If they say this is the best crossover to use for at 12 dB, then just set your deck up with that and you'll be fine. But I guarantee you that they will be more than happy for the low pass, because they don't care about the low pass, okay? The low pass being 250 at 24 dB will be just fine, okay? So keep using network mode and you should be stellar. Later.